What's up gamers, KKaceh here, back with some more discussion video, boss design analysis. About last month, I made a certain boss guide video because I saw so many people are struggling with a certain boss in Twitter, and lo and behold, this dude, to my surprise, has wrecked so many Honkai Star Rail players, and even some said they are quitting the game because of this dude. So after we've been wanting to talk about the latest boss, 10 Hearts-Aventurine of the stratagems. The aim for this kind of video is trying to see things from a gamer's perspective, whether we're having a good or bad time with a certain element in video game. And at the same time, also trying to see things from the developer's perspective on why they make a certain decision on their game design. So let's just get into the video, shall we?
And don't forget to like and subscribe!
First, let's talk about the good. Number 1, visually, he looks pretty interesting. For some reason, the first thing that came to my mind when I see him for the first time is that he reminds me of a battle clown. Maybe thanks to the mask and the hat, and the way he was presented in the White Knight music video. I thought Aventurine is secretly a mask fool, although he did get an invitation to join the mask fool, lore-wise. In many of the games that I've played in recent years, you don't get to see this kind of design often, so I really appreciate such a unique design from this particular boss. The second one is the bat mechanic is very unique and true to the boss identity. This mechanic makes the outcome of the fight to be chaotic, as sometimes we will get screwed really hard, or sometimes we are safe by it. It makes the fight to have more ups and down moment, and we as a player like to have that kind of moment instead of a boss just being a punching bag, or the boss just mop the floor with us. At least I can appreciate about that particular element of this boss. Knowing that Aventurine Real Kit has so many RNG aspects in it, Aventurine carries that luck design principle even in the boss form. This is one of the best aspects of Honkai Star Rail when it comes to boss design, especially playable characters that can also be a boss like Gepard, Bronya, Kafka, Sam, and Argenti. Their playable character kit and boss kit revolves around the same theme of their core character lore. And the third good thing about this boss is that it needs to be fought with a specific setup. I think besides Sam that kind of weakens your abundance unit and encourages you to bring preservation unit, this is the only boss that forces you to bring a certain unit in order to beat him. You are required to bring an AoE unit at least, so you can clear his bad mechanic. And the honey unit that always does a single target attack most likely will die in few turns unless you get extremely lucky resisting the card control debuff, or you get lucky with a very high dice roll while he has a very low dice roll. And this brings us to the point number 4. It forces players, especially casuals, out of their comfort zone of always using one specific team. So many casual players, even a long-time players, tends to only stick to a specific team, since most of the story content can be cleared relatively easy. Heck, I even see so many of these like casual streamers, they always pulls for characters, but they actually never level them up. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, this kind of difficult challenge really reminds me the good old days playing turn-based RPG games in PS1 and PS2. Like for instance, like Suikoden 2, at which the boss Luca Blight wiped the floor with me so many times, and I need to keep readjusting my team and runes until I could beat him. I really miss those old days, and I'm glad I could experience some of it in Honkai Star Rail. The fifth good point about this boss is that it forces you to plan your move carefully, especially when it comes to spending skill point. Sometimes, you get that feeling of wanting to do just tiny weeny bit more damage with your DPS, even when you are kinda in low to medium health and kinda low in skill points. This boss really punishes you for being greedy, as that can cause you to lose the bet, and that sometimes he might one-shot your character if they're unlucky. So my advice, always play patiently in this fight. Always keep your party at full health and also in buff state. And always have your skill points about 2 to 3 in case of emergency. Now we're moving to the bad. The first bad point is that it restrains player with a smaller character pool. Because this boss requires a specific setup for most players, while on the other hand I assume whales should be able to blaze through the content thanks to their insane damage from light cone and eidolons. So people who always save their J's and pull for a very specific character will have a very tough time beating the boss, since they might not have that much needed AoE character. unless they level up their Herda to the maximum and actually build her. Then again, it is a neither's fault since the game and the player just have a clash on how things should be done. And it kinda goes back to the good thing about this boss, you should level up your characters and try different things. And second bad thing about this boss is that spamming his bad mechanics makes it impossible to beat with the wrong setup. The biggest problem with this fight, during the second phase, he spammed his bad mechanic every turn. If you lose once, most likely you will lose again next turn, since everyone is kinda low on health and maybe imprisoned, and things just kinda start snowballing from there. It would have been so much better if he does it every other turn. There's an instance during my playthrough when he doesn't do his bad every turn, but I still can't figure out the pattern for it. So this boss will be perfect if he just doesn't spam that every turn and give a little bit of breathing room for the players if the RNG were against them. And speaking of RNG, it brings us to the last bad point. RNG is not fun for some people. There are people who really dislike RNG in video games, and hence why they hate the old school JRPG so much. Almost everything about this fight is RNG based, from the bad mechanic, who got hit with his attack, will your character get imprisoned if they lose the bad, and also whether one character will get a total beatdown from his multi-attack skill. So I'm not surprised if someone rage quit the game as they feel frustrated because of the RNG aspect of this fight. Well, that's the whole analysis of this boss design. This boss is no doubt the most controversial boss so far. If you look at the good, it is actually a pretty good boss design that really makes the player to be more careful with their decision and also improve their ability in team building for this game. However, this ended up causing some people quite a bit of frustration instead, as it can be seen that quite many people watching my guide video despite my minuscule channel. And in the comment section of my video, there's quite a bit of people didn't advise on how they should tackle the boss with the team they have. I really hope whatever stupid advice I have given, it helps some players out there. Well, that's all I have to say about this particular boss. It is one hell of a boss, but personally, I really like his overall gameplay design, except the fact that he spams his bad mechanic every turn. If it was like Sam, at which he takes one turn break before he uses his supernova attack again, this boss could be tied to my favorite boss with Sam. We shall see if the new weekly boss in version 2.2 will be as difficult as Aventurine or not. And just before I close, I just want to say once again, this boss fight really reminds me of the good old days playing turn-based game at which boss will wipe the floor with you so many times until you understand their mechanics and you need to adjust your team, change your equipment, etc. You have anything to add about the good and bad thing about this game, or maybe even your experience with the boss? Leave your comment in the comment section, as I'm really curious about your opinion about this boss overall. Anyway, thanks for watching. Look forward to more discussion content about Honkai Star Rail every week, at least once a week, if not more. In the next video, stay sharp gamers, and if possible, let us reach 1,000 subs as soon as possible. With that, I really need your help to build this community that always discuss fun things and maybe vent out our frustration about video games critically. Good luck and have fun with Honkai Star Rail.
And don't forget to like and subscribe!
Magic pace, way to the beat, hands up and